Picture this. You're crouched in the shadowed corridors of Ferrara's grand palace. The night is thick with candle smoke, the scent of spiced wine, and something darker, something electric. Outside, the city sleeps, unaware of what is about to unfold. Inside, the Duke's palace pulses like a living creature. Every whisper, every glance, every step a heartbeat in a game of ambition, power, and desire. Courtesans moves like a predator, eyes sharp, gestures precise. Every corner, every corridor, every servant's step is catalogued in his mind. He knows who is loyal, who is scheming, who will break under pressure. And tonight, the palace will be tested, not by war, not by diplomacy, but by fire, betrayal, and the raw hunger for control. Ferrara, his son, stalks the shadows. Ambitious, reckless, brilliant. He has a plan, one that could fracture the palace, expose secrets, even topple his father's carefully maintained power. But he underestimates the walls themselves. Every corridor, every shadow, every courtesan is a trap. Ferrara may move quickly, but he is being watched. Always. Isabella Boschetti glides among the guests like smoke and silk. Beautiful, dangerous, and entirely untouchable. She whispers secrets, fans flames of paranoia, and bends desire to her will. She is no ally, no enemy. She is a force of her own, shaping the night in ways no one else can see. The nobles arrive, tension wrapped around their shoulders like a cloak. Courtesans drift between them, their laughter soft, their touch electric, weaving influence and fear simultaneously. Wine flows, rich and dark. Music thrums low, a heartbeat beneath whispered conversations. Every movement matters. Every word is a weapon. And in the shadows, Ferrara makes his first move. A poisoned cup, subtle, designed to terrify rather than kill, lands in the hands of a minor noble. Panic ripples instantly. Eyes widen. Murmurs ripple through the hall. The Duke watches, calm and calculating, letting chaos unfold like a storm he alone can navigate. Isabella smiles faintly. She sees the fractures forming, the secrets spilling, the power shifting. To her, the palace is alive, a living organism, and she has just nudged it toward her own design. Outside, the city senses it too. Rumors flutter through the streets like smoke. Ferrara's palace is alive, breathing, dangerous. Inside, the Duke watches. The courtesans maneuver, the nobles panic, and Ferrara realizes the first lesson of the night. Ambition alone cannot survive against mastery, deception, and a palace that watches your every move. By the flicker of the last candle, one truth is undeniable. In Ferrara, desire, fear, and power are threads of the same rope, and tonight, that rope is tightening. The palace of Ferrara hums with anticipation. Dawn has faded, but the night lingers, thick with shadows and whispered secrets. Every corridor holds a story. Every flicker of candlelight casts suspicion. Courtesans moves like a shadow within shadows. Every glance, every gesture, a silent command. The palace is his, yet tonight, even he feels the tremor of uncertainty. Ferrara prowls through the eastern galleries. His plan is audacious. Expose hidden enemies, manipulate perception, fracture loyalty. But he is not the only player. Courtesans move like living mirrors, reflecting ambition and fear. Every step he takes, they anticipate. Every whispered word, they twist. He believes he controls the night, but the palace itself has other designs. Isabella Boschetti drifts through the candlelit halls, a wraith of silk and smoke. She whispers truths and lies in equal measure, bending desire and fear with effortless precision. She knows the Duke's patience, Ferrante's recklessness, and the delicate fractures in noble loyalty. Every smile she gives, every glance, is a weapon, and tonight she wields them all. Guests assemble in the great hall, tension draped over them like a heavy cloak. Nobles from Mantua, Venice, and distant courts glance at one another, questioning, calculating, guessing loyalties. Courtesans slip between them, touches and glances designed to provoke, unsettle, and manipulate. Wine flows, rich and intoxicating. Music hums low, discordant, stirring unease as much as pleasure. Every second is a test. Every word carries weight. Ferrara strikes. A minor noble, chosen for arrogance and vanity, finds his cup subtly poisoned, not lethal, but enough to shatter composure. Panic spreads in ripples, murmurs of betrayal, fear, and suspicion sweep through the hall. Ercole watches, unmoved. He allows the chaos to unfold, observing, cataloging, absorbing every mistake, every hesitation. His mastery is evident. Every move Ferrante makes is anticipated, every error exploited. The courtesans respond instantly. They glide among guests, whispering secrets, feigning concern, igniting jealousy and fear. Isabella moves between father and son, her presence unseen but omnipresent, guiding the chaos, shaping reactions. She is both storm and eye, pushing events to a crescendo only she understands. Outside, the city of Ferrara murmurs with awareness. Smoke from a minor fire drifts through the streets. Rumors of scandal and intrigue spreading faster than the morning wind. Fra Bernardino's prophecy lingers in the air. Indulgence devours itself, power fractures, and ambition corrodes even the strongest will. Inside, the palace edges toward eruption. Ferrante learns the first brutal lesson of the night. Audacity without cunning is nothing. Ercole's patience is a weapon, Isabella's subtle hand a guide, and the courtesan's influence threads through every whisper, every shadow, every glance. By candlelight, one truth burns clear. In Ferrara, power is not seized, it is survived. The night deepens in Ferrara, but the palace is awake, alive with secrets. Candlelight dances across gilded walls, flickering over faces taut with anticipation. Every shadow is a threat, every whisper a weapon. Ercole d'Este moves through the halls like a ghost, hands clasped, eyes sharp. He does not speak. He does not need to. The palace bends to his will. Ferrante prowls the east wing, heart hammering, mind calculating. His earlier strike caused panic, but it barely grazed the Duke's control. Every corridor he crosses, every servant he passes, every courtesan he watches reminds him this palace is a labyrinth of power, and one wrong step could be fatal. He senses the tension coiling tighter, a rope around ambition itself. Isabella Boschetti drifts like smoke, her gaze never idle. She knows the fractures. She knows the lies whispered between nobles and the fears hiding behind smiles. Every movement she makes bends events subtly. Every glance she offers nudges chaos toward a delicate balance only she can maintain. She is the silent arbiter of the night, guiding desire, manipulation, and fear with uncanny precision. The nobles gather again in the main hall, uneasy and restless. Wine flows, red and heady, loosening tongues and lowering defenses. Courtesans glide between them, their laughter soft, touches deliberate, each interaction carefully calculated. The air is thick with tension, anticipation, and danger. Every smile hides a threat. Every glance carries a warning. Ferrante attempts a second strike, an accusation aimed at a minor noble, intended to fracture alliances, reveal traitors. Chaos erupts. Murmurs turn to shouts. Some guests freeze. Others flee to corners, eyes darting, lips trembling. Yet Ercole remains still, observing every reaction, every hesitation, every flicker of fear. He steps lightly, allowing panic to spread before controlling it with effortless authority. The Duke's mastery is absolute. He anticipates every move, counteracts every ploy, turns every misstep to his advantage. The fire begins. A servant panics, spilling a tray of wine near the eastern tapestries. Flames lick the edges of the room, curling smoke into the rafters. Nobles stumble, panic mounts. Courtesans respond with calm efficiency, guiding chaos where it benefits Ercole's plan. While Isabella maneuvers unseen, nudging reactions with a whisper or a smile, fear and desire twist together, binding everyone in invisible chains. Outside, Ferrara stirs with rumor. Smoke drifts over rooftops. Citizens whisper of fire, scandal, and intrigue. Fra Bernardino's prophecy hangs over the city. Indulgence devours itself, ambition destroys, and power is a fragile, burning flame. Inside, the palace teeters between order and collapse. Ferrante realizes he has outmatched ambition alone cannot triumph against strategy, observation, and subtle manipulation. Isabella watches, guiding the chaos, her hand unseen but shaping every outcome. Ercole's presence dominates all, a reminder that power in Ferrara is not granted, it is controlled, observed, and enforced. By the flicker of the last candle, one truth is undeniable. In Ferrara, the palace survives not by loyalty or courage, but by mastery, deception, and the shadows that move unseen. If you're enjoying the video, make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe to our channel for more upcoming history revealing stories like this. Comment below where you're listening from. I'm eager to know that. The Palace of Ferrara never sleeps. Even as the city slumbers, its corridors pulse with whispers, footsteps, and secret glances. Candlelight flickers across gilded walls, casting long shadows that twist like living things. Every whisper is a dagger, every glance a warning. Ercole d'Este walks these halls like a storm contained, eyes sharp, movements deliberate. Nothing escapes him. Not a servant's hesitation, not a courtesan's smile, not a noble's nervous twitch. Ferrante moves through the West Wing, heart hammering, mind racing. His first attempts at chaos have failed, leaving only fractures in perception. He realizes that ambition without subtlety is meaningless in this palace. Each step is calculated, each breath is measured. One false move, and the walls themselves seem ready to swallow him. He senses eyes in every corner unseen, observing, judging. The Duke's reach is infinite. Isabella Boschetti glides between nobles and courtesans alike, a wraith of silk and shadow. She listens, calculates, nudges, reactions with a whisper, a touch, a glance. Her influence is invisible but undeniable. She can turn loyalty into fear, curiosity into obedience, desire into weaponized distraction. To her, the palace is alive, and she is its unseen conductor, shaping every heartbeat of the night. The nobles gather again, summoned under pretense of counsel. Anxiety hums beneath polite conversation, and wine loosens tongues just enough to betray truths long hidden. Courtesans drift among them, subtle and deliberate, guiding fear, excitement, and suspicion with every glance and whisper. Every gesture counts, every smile hides a knife. The air is electric with danger. Ferrante makes another move, targeting a minor noble whose arrogance masks ambition. Panic spreads like wildfire. Murmurs turn to shouts, and alliances shift under the pressure. Ercole watches silently, allowing the chaos to swell. Then, with the precision of a master, he steps forward, restoring control while exposing weakness. Every action Ferrante takes has already been anticipated, every misstep turned to advantage. The Duke's mastery is total, his control undeniable. A fire flickers in the corner, small, contained, but enough to ignite fear. A tray of wine spilled in panic has caught the edge of a tapestry, and smoke curls into the rafters. Courtesans react instantly, guiding panic in ways that reinforce Ercole's authority. Isabella moves unseen, nudging events to a delicate crescendo, a dance of chaos and control only she truly understands. Outside, Ferrara murmurs with rumor. Smoke drifts above the rooftops. Citizens whisper of scandal, intrigue, and fire. Fra Bernardino's prophecy hovers in memory. Indulgence destroys itself, ambition consumes the reckless, and power is a fragile, burning flame. Inside, the palace is a living organism, a crucible where fear, desire, and strategy collide. Ferrante learns the harsh truth ambition alone cannot triumph here. Isabella's subtle hand, Ercole's unyielding mastery, and the courtesan's careful manipulations shape every outcome. By the last candle's flicker, one fact is undeniable. In Ferrara, survival is power, and the shadows hold the greatest authority. The Palace of Ferrara breathes like a beast, its corridors alive with whispered secrets and shifting alliances. Candlelight trembles against the walls, illuminating faces taut with fear and desire. Every glance is a calculation, every word a weapon. Ercole d'Este moves like the calm before a storm. Silent and precise. Nothing escapes him. Every servant, every noble, every courtesan bends or breaks under his gaze. Ferrante prowls the shadowed halls, heart hammering. His ambition burns, yet he knows the stakes have escalated. Every step risks exposure. Every plan could collapse into ruin. The palace itself seems alive. Corridors closing in, shadows watching, whispering warning. He is not merely moving through stone and candlelight. He is navigating a labyrinth of power, deceit, and fear. Isabella Boschetti floats through the palace like smoke, subtle and omnipresent. She listens to murmurs, catches flickers of hesitation, nudges desire and paranoia in equal measure. Every smile hides a strategy. Every glance alters outcomes. She is unseen but felt, a force shaping the night's events. Even Ferrante senses her influence, and it chills him more than the Duke's glare. The nobles assemble once more. Under the pretense of counsel, anxiety hums beneath polite conversation. Wine loosens tongues, but secrets slip too easily, revealing cracks in loyalty and ambition. Courtesans drift among them, their movements deliberate, smiles loaded with unseen power. Every touch, every whisper, every carefully timed glance is a thread in a web of manipulation. The air hums with tension. Danger is palpable. Ferrante makes another daring move, an accusation aimed at a minor noble, a calculated attempt to fracture alliances. Chaos erupts instantly. Murmurs become shouts. Nobles scramble to protect themselves. Alliances shift under pressure. But Ercole remains unmoved. He lets the panic swell before striking, regaining control with effortless precision. Every move Ferrante makes is anticipated. Every error turned to Ercole's advantage. The Duke's mastery is complete. A small fire flickers near the eastern tapestries. A servant's panic has spilled wine and ignited the edge. Smoke curls toward the rafters. Courtesans respond with skillful efficiency, controlling the spread of fear, reinforcing the Duke's dominance. Isabella moves unseen, guiding events to a crescendo, turning panic into spectacle, chaos into control. Outside, Ferrara stirs. Citizens whisper rumors of scandal, intrigue, and fire. Fra Bernardino's prophecy lingers. Indulgence devours itself. Ambition destroys the reckless. And power is a fragile, burning flame. Inside, Ferrante realizes the bitter truth. Ambition alone cannot survive in this palace. Every action is observed, every secret manipulated. Isabella's unseen hand, Ercole's unyielding control, and the courtesan's influence shape outcomes more than courage or strength. By the flicker of the last candle, one reality is undeniable. In Ferrara, power is not seized, it is survived, and the shadows are the ultimate rulers. The palace of Ferrara hums with electricity, every corridor alive with secrets, every shadow a potential threat. Candlelight flickers, throwing long, twisting shapes across gilded walls. Ercole d'Este moves through it all. Silent, precise, the calm at the center of a storm he alone controls. His gaze sweeps the halls, noting every tremor of fear, every flicker of ambition, every hesitation that betrays intent. The palace bends to him. Everything else is chaos to be managed. Ferrante prowls the western galleries, heart-pounding, mind-sharpening. His prior attempts have failed, leaving fractures in perception but not the control he craves. Every step is measured, every breath calculated. One misstep, and the palace will crush him not physically, but with a network of eyes, whispers, and unseen forces he cannot fight. He knows now. In Ferrara, the walls themselves are weapons. Isabella Boschetti drifts among the nobles, courtesans, and servants. Every smile she gives, every touch she feigns, every glance she allows to linger carries strategy. She bends fear, desire, and suspicion with effortless precision, orchestrating events like a silent conductor. To her, the palace is a living organism, and she moves through it as though she owns its very heartbeat. Even Ferrante senses her influence, and it chills him more than the Duke's stern presence. The nobles gather again, under the guise of counsel. Anxiety hums beneath polite conversation. Wine loosens tongues, allowing secrets to slip, alliances to fracture, and loyalties to wobble. Courtesans drift among them, their movements deliberate, guiding suspicion, desire, and fear with every subtle gesture. Every whisper is a dagger, every smile a trap. Ferrante tries another move. This time he targets a noble whose arrogance has masked ambition for too long. Panic spreads instantly. Murmurs erupt into accusations. Guests glance at each other with suspicion. Alliances shaking like leaves in a storm. Ercole allows the chaos to rise before intervening, regaining control with effortless precision. Every misstep, every error, every flicker of hesitation is a weapon he wields against his son. A fire sparks near the northern gallery, accidental yet perfectly timed to amplify panic. Smoke winds through corridors, curling into the rafters. Courtesans respond instantly, controlling fear, turning disorder into spectacle, guiding reactions to reinforce Ercole's dominance. Isabella's hand is unseen but omnipresent, nudging events to a delicate crescendo, turning chaos into orchestration. Outside, Ferrara stirs with whispers. Smoke drifts above rooftops. Citizens murmur of scandal, intrigue, and subtle terror. Fra Bernardino's prophecy echoes in memory. Indulgence consumes itself, ambition destroys the reckless, and power is fragile, a flame easily snuffed. Inside, the palace is alive. Ferrante realizes he cannot win with ambition alone. Every step, every choice is already anticipated, manipulated, and observed. Isabella's subtle mastery, Ercole's commanding presence, and the courtesan's influence determine the flow of events. By the last candle's flicker, one truth blazes through the shadows. In Ferrara, survival is power, and mastery over fear, desire, and deception rules all. The palace of Ferrara trembles, though no walls have fallen. Shadows stretch long and strange. Candlelight flickers across gold and marble, and the air is thick with tension that tastes like smoke and wine. Ercole d'Este moves through it like a silent storm, every step measured, every glance precise. Nothing escapes him. Every hesitation, every twitch, every flicker of fear is catalogued. This palace does not forgive mistakes, it devours them. Ferrante prowls the eastern galleries, reckless ambition burning in his chest. His earlier attempts at chaos have failed, leaving only fractures in perception and exposed vulnerabilities. He moves carefully now, but the palace itself seems alive. Corridors twisting, shadows watching. Every servant, every courtesan, every noble is a potential trap, and Ferrante begins to understand the cost of misjudging Ercole's mastery. Isabella Boschetti drifts among the halls like smoke. Every smile she gives, every subtle gesture, every whispered word bends the night's events toward her will. Fear, desire, suspicion, she manipulates them all with effortless precision. Even Ferrante senses her invisible hand and shivers. She is neither ally nor enemy. She is a force shaping the night in ways no one can see but all feel. The nobles gather once more, summoned under the pretense of counsel. Anxiety hums beneath their polite conversation. Wine loosens tongues, allowing secrets to slip, alliances to fracture, and loyalties to tremble. Courtesans drift among them, their movements deliberate, smiles and touches carefully measured, shaping panic and desire with subtle precision. Every glance is loaded, every gesture calculated. Ferrante makes a final move, an accusation aimed at a powerful noble whose arrogance has gone unchecked. Chaos erupts. Murmurs explode into shouts. Guests glance at one another, fear and suspicion twisting through the room. But Ercole remains unmoved. He lets the storm rise, letting panic fracture the hall before he strikes with absolute precision. Every error Ferrante makes becomes a tool for the Duke. Every hesitation, a weapon. A fire sparks near the western gallery, accidental yet perfectly timed. Smoke curls toward the ceiling. Panic spreads. Courtesans respond instantly, steering chaos, guiding reactions to reinforce Ercole's dominance. Isabella moves unseen, orchestrating every reaction, every fear, every flicker of ambition. The palace itself is her instrument, and she plays it flawlessly. Outside, Ferrara whispers. Citizens murmur of scandal, intrigue, and fire. Fra Bernardino's prophecy lingers. Indulgence destroys itself. Ambition devours the reckless, and power is a fragile, burning flame. Inside, Ferrante finally realizes the bitter truth. Ambition alone cannot survive here. Every choice, every action, every secret is already anticipated, manipulated, and observed. Isabella's subtle hand, Ercole's unyielding mastery, and the courtesan's influence determine outcomes. By candlelight's last flicker, one fact emerges. In Ferrara, mastery over fear, desire, and deception is the only true power, and survival is its ultimate test. The night reaches its apex. Ferrara's palace thrums like a living beast. Corridors twisting with shadows, candlelight flickering against gold and marble. Every whisper is a blade, every glance a trap. Ercole d'Este stands at the center, calm, unyielding, the eye of a storm he alone commands. Every movement, every misstep, every heartbeat is under his scrutiny. Tonight, The palace will speak, and it will not forgive. Ferrante moves like a hunted animal, ambition burning in his chest. But the walls themselves seem to betray him. Every servant, every courtesan, every noble has eyes and ears where he cannot see. Every step is a gamble. Every breath risks exposure. He feels the net tightening, and panic coils in his chest like a snake ready to strike. Isabella Boschetti is everywhere and nowhere. Her presence lingers in smiles, glances, whispered words. She bends fear and desire into weapons, nudging events toward outcomes only she can see. She is the invisible conductor of the night, orchestrating chaos, pushing ambition to its breaking point, and guiding the palace toward its climax. Ferrante senses her influence, and for the first time, fear burns hotter than desire. The nobles gather for what they believe is counsel. Anxiety hums beneath polite conversation. Wine flows, loosening tongues, revealing cracks in loyalty and ambition. Courtesans glide among them, their laughter soft, their touches deliberate, shaping chaos into spectacle. Every gesture, every glance, every whisper becomes a thread in the intricate web of control. Ferrante makes one last desperate strike, a bold accusation aimed at Ercole himself. Panic erupts. Murmurs spiral into shouting. Noble alliances fracture. Fear and suspicion twist through the room like fire. Yet Ercole remains unmoved. With precision, he quells the chaos, turning Ferrante's audacity against him. Every mistake Ferrante made has already been accounted for. Every hesitation, every misjudgment, a tool wielded by the Duke. A fire ignites near the northern gallery. Smoke curls into the rafters. Guests panic. Courtesans move swiftly, controlling fear, turning disorder into spectacle. Isabella drifts unseen, guiding reactions, nudging events toward the ultimate crescendo. She is everywhere, yet unseen. She is chaos and order intertwined. Outside, Ferrara whispers of scandal, intrigue, and danger. Fra Bernardino's prophecy hangs over the city. Indulgence devours itself. Ambition consumes the reckless, and power is a fragile, burning flame. Inside, Ferrante faces the unavoidable truth. Ambition, alone, is powerless. Every secret, every step, every choice is anticipated, manipulated, observed. Isabella's subtle mastery, Ercole's unyielding dominance, and the courtesan's influence shape every outcome. The palace has decided. The night is over. Survival belongs not to the bold, not to the reckless, but to those who understand the shadows. By the last candle's flicker, the lesson is undeniable. In Ferrara, power is survival, survival is mastery, and mastery belongs to those who move unseen, strike unseen, and bend chaos to their will. The palace remembers, and it never forgets.